Hello.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Ho fatto un pesellino.
I don't know what that means.
I had a nap. Yeah, I'm really sleepy.
You're really sleepy?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm also sleep deprived because me and Bob decided to stay up until 3 o'clock this morning.
You decided to.
Yeah, we were just hanging out.
Were you playing Monopoly again?
No, we weren't. We were just hanging out.
Should
being
you clap?
goofballs.
You should clap before you tell me about.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
This is a podcast in which two friends talk about the pleasures, absurdities, and imperfections of being human. I'm Simon Ellis.
And I'm Lee Miller. Welcome to Midlifing.
So you didn't decide, it was all spontaneous.
Yes, it was. We were just goofing around. We were just goofing around and being silly fools. And then we found out it was 3 o'clock in the morning. And then it was tired time.
Oh,
Anyway.
you must be. So Bob must be still asleep.
Of course she's still asleep. She'll still be asleep tomorrow if I don't wake her.
Yeah, she's got that superpower, doesn't she?
Mm-hmm.
Not one I have. I got up at 5 a.m. to make bread, and so I'm now paying the price. So, have you got content? How are you? Happy New Year.
Oh,
wait,
my
hang
gosh,
on. No, we've
Happy
done
New
that,
Year.
haven't we? Yeah,
no,
we've
we
done
haven't. Well, we were talking. We were
New Year's
talking
Eve.
on New Year's Eve
Yeah.
when hopes were high.
Yeah. And have
And
your
now
hopes
we
been
are-
dashed? Have they
No,
been
actually, no, not at all. I've had a very nice New Year so far.
crashed on the rocks of 2025? We've got it's quite a bit of snow this morning on the ground. It's more than a smattering, but not much more.
I still live in the far southwest where snow is the rarest of occurrences.
Yeah.
Last night we had rain like it was going out of fashion.
Yeah.
It's been beautiful, sunny and really cold. The next 2 days is just going to be warm and wet, and then it crashes back to being like -2.
Yeah, I think the weather's
gonna
pretty
be
much
weird.
the same in this part of the country. It's a small country. Weather's not so...
Yeah.
But because we're inland, it's... oof. So how has 2025 been for you so far? Are you kicking into it, or are you...
I started 2025 welcoming a new family into the home, not to stay, just to visit. They were visiting all the way from Alice Springs.
a new
In them, they're Australians.
family?
Yeah, a couple and their newborn son, who I haven't met. Oh, he's not newborn now. Obviously, he is 6, 7 months old.
Wait, they live in Alice Springs?
They do live in Alice Springs.
They must have doubled the population of Alice Springs. Well,
I think Alice Springs is quite big. I think you're being a little unfair, and
It's a
perhaps one
very-
of those Melburnians sneering at
no
the-
sneering, but it's just the isolation, that it's the emptiness of that massive continent.
My understanding is that Alice Springs has a wonderful community, and they were talking about having just joined a choir called, are you ready for this? Alice Sings. Lovely. I loved it.
I was just set up for it, wasn't it?
Yeah. Anyway, they're a lovely couple. One runs a dance organisation. The other runs a coffee shop.
Wait,
And
one
they
runs a
sound-
dance organisation?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you've met them.
Have I?
In fact, you spoilt one of their
Christmases.
surprise parties.
Oh. You're very welcome. I also like that you said one of them. So, like, I didn't ruin them all, did I?
No, you've only ruined one of their surprise parties, and I meant to say like one of the people. Anyway, it doesn't matter. They came, and it was lovely because we had a baby in the house on New Year's Day, and there's something quite energizing about having a tiny human who, I have to say, was remarkably undemanding.
Very tiny, like newborn.
Not newborn, 6, 7 months old, so biggish. but tiny little still, cuddleable, not like, but wriggly. So not like swaddled and sleepy, sort of cuddly and wriggly.
Yeah.
But then like, oh, bored of being cuddled. Now I need to have a little nap. Now I need to get up. So that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And Jeff was delighted.
I was going to say, I wonder how Jeffrey was.
Oh, he was like, this is amazing. This thing is for sniffing and for looking at, and occasionally when no one's looking, I'm going to put my tongue on it. Oh, yeah, it tastes amazing.
Did you catch Jeffrey licking the baby?
Yeah, of course I did. Of course I did. He's like, oh, it tastes really good. It's like, it's just covered in flavours.
Yeah, and also new flavours too.
New flavours to him anyway. And then...
how many days did they stay?
Oh, no. They just came for a couple of hours. We just had some time. But they came
they didn't
on
stay
New Year's
overnight.
Day. They didn't stay overnight. No,
right,
no.
okay. So they didn't overstay their welcome.
Oh, gosh, no. No. They were part of I think we were part of their British tour. So they were seeing a lot of people. Yeah. But earlier that day, we'd had our next door neighbour round, who's 85. So we went from like one end to the other.
What's your next door neighbour's name?
Jill.
She's
Fabulous
85
Jill.
now.
I know. It happens.
Holy shit.
I know.
Jill, big shout out to Jill. She must be one of our core listeners.
She's never listened to our podcast, and I hope it remains that way. I don't want her to know this much about me, even though we have lived next door to one another for 17 years. It's weird. I met her in her late 60s.
Oh, it's just too much, isn't it? Time.
It is.
Time just keeps on ticking
into the future.
It really does. So it sounds like you had quite a New Year's Day.
Yeah, New Year's Day was a big old day. And then the day after New Year's Day, I went and had my balls scanned because I found a lump. Yeah.
Did they scan them both or just one?
They scan them both. They do scan both, just in case there is anything amiss with the one that you haven't gotten really anxious about.
Between something to stop them moving around.
No, what happens is you go into a room and a very nice young lady says, okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to take off your trousers and you're going to take off your underpants and you're going to lie down and you're going to cover yourself up with this piece of tissue. And then I'm thinking...
Was it cold?
Was it cold in the room?
Yeah. Like where you sit lying on it. Like sometimes those things you're lying on are pretty chilly.
Well, they put like a layer of tissue on top of it, so that gives you a level of warmth.
I mean, think of your backside. I was actually thinking of your, like what you're lying
on. But my bottom was on a piece of tissue paper. It's like there's like a big long tissue paper.
Oh yeah,
gotcha. Which takes the coldness.
Yeah,
it's
not
not like
a little square.
They're not asking me to put my naked bottom on a vinyl couch. That would be barbaric.
It would be barbaric, wouldn't it? And so
anyway,
then a little tissue on top.
It's not a little tissue. It was a very large piece of tissue.
It was a man-sized tissue.
Oh, it was more than man-sized. What they did...
You do have content, don't you?
It's to cover your modesty. And then I lay down there with the tissue over me.
So wait.
Anyway.
So look, there's a lot to unpack here.
I haven't even finished.
I know. I don't want to let you finish until there's a few things I wanted. So were you nervous about having the scan at all? Or was it just, in the sense of...
I'd found a lump on my testicles.
Exactly.
Was I worried? Simon, if you find a lump on your balls, what do you think?
So, you're a little bit concerned about that.
I mean, what happened was... this is... Okay, so shout out to the NHS. This is one of those moments where...
It kicks into action, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it's like, and I totally understand when people give you the horror stories of like waiting for 14 hours in A&E. ... So I would say
New
probably
Eve,
this. Yeah, 2nd of December, I was having a shower, and I thought, hang on, what's that? I don't remember that, and I found a lump on my right testicle, and I immediately went, okay. That's not been there before. Now I'm anxious. That's big. It's quite uncomfortable. What's going on? And I was in the shower, so it was nice and hot. And
I've got to have a shower more often.
Oh, you check your balls every now and then, though, don't you?
Not. It's not high on my list of things to do.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
I'm
I want
gonna-
you to.
I-
I want
yeah.
you to have a. No, no, I'm less bothered about you. I want you to talk to Finn.
Right.
Finn is the age that he should be checking his balls weekly.
I'm sure he's very happy to be mentioned in this moment.
Well,
hey, wait, do you want to say
let
hello?
me-
Wait, there's a very
Oh, hi.
awkward moment here.
I don't think it's awkward. Finn, check your balls weekly. Anybody who is in that demographic, and by that demographic I mean roughly between 17 and 35.
What do you
That's a
mean? What do
really-
you mean? Check my balls, Lee?
That's not Finn.
Forgotten what a great laugh you have.
I've not heard your voice in too long, Lil. Hello, Happy
Hello.
New Year.
Happy New Year
How
to
are
you
you?
too.
This is a high watermark. One that we've, in the space of 2 weeks, had both of you on the podcast, a Bob and a Lil,
Yeah.
which is very exciting. And then two, that I get to talk to you about my balls for the first time I've talked to you in ages.
Unknowingly as well.
I know. I mean, it's a good job that we weren't putting this through an ethical protocol, because if we were, Simon would be fucked. He'd fail because there was no informed consent or right to withdraw. Simon Kennedy Ellis, running a Horizon Europe bid.
Lovely to speak to you, Lee.
Lovely to speak to you
Let's
too.
let's not leave it so long next time.
Yes, please.
Bye.
Bye.
Sorry, sorry about the timing. Without any context.
So Finn and anybody in that age range, sort of 17 to 35, that's the high watermark for testicular cancer.
Really?
And testicular cancer, yeah. And testicular cancer is one of the most survivable cancers.
Yeah,
It's
I knew
one of
that.
the most treatable cancers, but it's one of those things that you can obviously easily let it go
Miss
too
it.
long, and it's exactly. So men, or I should say, people with testicles, should be checking their balls once a week. And I'm sort of surprised that you don't.
I mean, yeah, sort of surprised. So, okay, so we need
I
to.
am sort of surprised.
Yeah, I've got health gaps, clearly.
Well, yeah, two of them.
Is, show me your health gaps. Is, okay. So, I'm a little bit
Point
anxious
to
for
your
you
health.
now.
Point to your health gaps on the doll.
Exactly. One of your health gaps is bigger than the other. So,
Which is perfectly normal, everybody, and it will probably hang lower. Okay, so
I just know that we have a listener in Australia right now who I suspect is wetting himself over his health gaps.
if he's wetting himself, then I think he needs to go and get something checked
It's a different
out.
check.
It's a different check.
Yeah.
Finger at the bum. Everybody knows that that's not the best way to do it. Anyway,
So, okay, look, we're
So
really,
I lay on the
this is always,
I lay on the
yeah,
couch.
Thank you.
Des has
Thank
come
you,
round
thank
the
you,
corner.
Thank you.
I've got my tissue over me, and he looks me square in the eye and says, "Take hold of your penis and pull it up towards you."
Right.
Like, and it was one of those things where I'm really glad he said pull it up towards you. So I understood it was he wanted it to lie along the body, so I wasn't just like lifting it
Or
to the
just
ceiling.
pull it. Okay. So even then I'd be going like, what, stretch it or just like lift it? Like, what an interesting pull and not lift. Because I would have said
No,
lift.
no, he wanted it pulled. So he did want it slightly stretched. So it was stretched and out of the way. So that gives you the first bit of tension for the scan. And
Right.
then he gives a very, very gentle pull down. But I've sort of jumped ahead from the shower to the scan.
Right.
There was quite a lot of time in between, though, wasn't there? Before I was delightfully introduced to the loveliness that is love.
Well, it does depend. It does depend on if this were the film. If we were making the film of this situation, like how much of the stuff in between you finding and the scan would we need? Like, do we need some kind?
Well, I think you asked if I was anxious. So I think the space in between is important for the anxiety of it. Oh no. Well, don't worry. To manage the anxiety of it, actually. So what happened was I found the lump, and
Was it superficial? Sorry, just was it superficial? Meaning, was it on the very much on the surface?
On the surface of the testicle.
Yeah. It's not like you. It's not like you squeezed and then found something kind of deep inside it.
Okay. So this tells me that you have never really given your testicles any kind of attention, because you can't squeeze your testicles that tight.
Yeah, but you can squeeze them enough. You can squeeze them enough.
No, you can't. You really can't. So testicular cancer is going to present on the outside of the testicle in any case.
Okay.
Right? So... Yeah.
I mean, you clearly know a lot more about this than I do, perhaps as a consequence of...
No, I know about this because I've had problematic balls since my 20s. So I used to get
showering me with show titles right now.
I used to get something called epididymitis, which was an inflammation of the epididymis, which is the kind of... and I kind of... Probably I would go in and out of the doctors like maybe once every 6 months or so. Yeah, because they get inflamed. Maybe after about 2 years, I went to a different doctor, and the doctor went, I don't think it's epididymitis that you've got. It's varicocele, and a varicocele is effectively like a varicose vein in your balls and a kind of a dragging down sensation. It's quite uncomfortable. So you have to wear the right kind of pants to keep everything nicely tucked away. Boxer shorts are an impossibility for me.
Yeah, always.
Yeah, always have to have some sense of being held, which of course was an interesting period of time when we were trying to have kids, because it's like, oh, now you don't want to get your balls too hot. My balls run hot anyway. Because of the fact so many shows. And do you know what?
I'm sorry.
Do you know what I love?
But my balls run hot anyway. It's just...
I love that you are going to listen back to this and you're going to...
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
No, I don't mind, sweetheart.
No,
it's you that
I'm actually deeply anxious. I want to cut
I know
to the
you
end.
are.
Yeah. And part of that is also about the anxiety of it.
I know.
Yeah.
Don't be worried. I'll spoil the ending. I'm fine.
Okay.
So I actually realised that I should have started there, because I wasn't trying to do this as a big reveal. Because everything's fine, there's nothing to reveal. I spent the day just reading about testicles, and I was pretty confident that what I had was an epididymal cyst.
Right. So you were self-diagnosing.
I was self-diagnosing. I've spent a lot of time hanging out with my balls, and so I knew that it was new. I knew that it was weird. I knew that it wasn't on the... So, do you know anything about the structure of the testicles?
Oh, it's been way too long since I did the anatomy. I mean, I did do it, but way too long.
So imagine an egg. Yeah? And at the top of the egg, you've got like a sort of a tube that comes out of the top of the egg and connects up into the workings. So there we go. That tube, that's your epididymis.
Yeah.
I'm sure that Corbaton is going, oh, that's not the best way I describe it. It's not. I know it's not. I'm just using that as a mental image for people who are unfamiliar with the internal workings of a ball sack. So I can feel
the series of hyperlinks we're going to be sent by Corbatron. No, it's this. Go here. Go here. Go here. Anyway, please. Continue.
So at the kind of the head of the testy and where the kind of where the epididymis connects is where the lump was, and I was like, I think it's an epididymal cyst. It's the right place for it. Testicular cancer would present on the body of the testicle rather than there. So I was kind of like, yeah, I'm pretty sure. But all the advice is, if you find any kind of a lump, you hotfoot it to the doctor. I phoned up the doctor. Actually, I didn't phone up the doctor. I walked into the doctor because I thought they open the telephone lines at 8:00, and there's always somebody who manages to get there before me. So I just rocked up at 8:00 in the morning. I was the first person in. I walked up to the counter and I said, I'd like an emergency appointment with the doctor. And I was expecting one of those fights that you have with the receptionist who's like, is it an emergency? And she went, okay, that's cool. what time? So so I was in the doctor's by 9:45.
Did you have to wait there the whole time?
No, I live
Yeah.
10 minutes away from the
yeah.
doctor, so I just walked home. Yeah, and I was reassured. He said, "Yep, pretty sure it's an epididymal cyst, but let's get you booked in for a scan."
What kind of scan is it, by the way?
It's just an ultrasound,
All right.
and that's how I started my new year. And in I walked. Des said, "Pull your penis towards you." He scanned and he went, "Oh, okay, cool. It's what you think it is. It's an epididymal cyst. It's 20 millimeters large."
Wow.
Fun story.
Wow.
You've got another one. Yeah, exactly. You've got another one on your left ball, but you hadn't noticed it. That's only 8 millimeters. And he said, "You've nothing to worry about." I said, "Oh, while we're there, can you check out my varicocele?" And he went, "Yep, you've got a varicocele, but it's on the sort of, it's not a size that we'd be worried about. We would be worried about it, about blood being able to return back to the heart and the flow of the blood, but that's all looking great. So you've got smashing balls." Anyway, 2 little kisses and off I went.
And
He didn't really kiss my balls. That was
treatment?
Treatment is nothing. It's just literally it's not doing any harm. If they get bigger, we'll worry about it, but the chances of them getting bigger are pretty small. Yeah, it's just 2 centimeters. It sounds big, doesn't it?
Will it likely disappear?
The doctor said they tend to dissipate, but so it's like I'm not sure if it will or it won't. The most important thing is that it's not sinister, it's not life-threatening or anything like that, and I can just go about my business.
I love you
now that I know that it's
sinister. Then, so the person who did the scan diagnosed it as well.
The person who did the scan agreed with the diagnosis, but what will happen now is
you mean agreed with your thought?
No, he agreed with the doctor's diagnosis. The doctor has diagnosed it, remember,
without the scan.
Manual palpation.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Now what will happen is the scans will go back to my doctor and I'll have that confirmed. But, it really was a sense of it looked like what it was supposed to look like. And that was it.
And you feel all right? How are you feeling?
Feel fine. I was mostly just impressed by the
NHS, the machinations of the NHS.
Absolutely.
Well, I think it's been fixed, hasn't it, by the Labour government? What hospital? Where is the closest hospital?
I was at a very small cottage hospital in a neighbouring town called Ashburton, and it was like a ghost town. Reception was shut. I wasn't even sure it was open. There were no lights on. Nothing was happening.
Yeah,
it was just the scan room was running, and it was in and out, piece of cake. Brilliant. And how do I feel? I feel fine.
Yeah, just to apologise for my earlier self.
You don't have anything to apologise about. I made you anxious by not pulling the plaster off immediately, so that's an apology I need to offer you by saying I'm fine.
It's interesting, isn't it? When I was really sick towards the end of last year, I really did have a weekend of being. In fact, it was sort of October actually. Really, really, really sick, and a friend of mine said, "Why didn't you call? Were you there? Were you home by yourself?" And it didn't. It made me think about, and it's partly because I think I was lying there in the middle of the night, and you're just one of those kind, sweating and just horrendous sort of viruses, and thinking that I felt quite alone. It was quite an interesting sort of sensation, and a little bit scared. Not of dying. I don't mean nothing. It wasn't sort of tangible fear. It was just more like a sort of a general sense, and it did make me think about who it is that if we're like sick or scared in the night, who it is that we call, or who it is. I mean, it's clearly slightly different for you because you can just tap Bob on the shoulder. But so it did make me think about for people who live by themselves. Because I think I should have called someone. I think I should have said, "Look, I'm not well. Do you think would you mind spending a couple of days here?" Lee Miller, do you think we should say goodbye?
I think now would be an excellent time to say goodbye.
I'm stopping
Little
recording.
song for you there.
Bye.
Bye.